Ever found yourself drowning in debt, wondering if credit counseling service are the lifeline you need or just another scam waiting to sink you further? Well, stay tuned to find out today. In today's episode, we're going to dive deep into the world of credit counseling services. We're going to separate fact from fiction, and we're going to equip you with the knowledge to make informed decisions about your financial well-being. I'm thrilled to have you join me for another episode. Thank you so much for tuning in and making this a part of your day. Before we get started, let's take a moment to reflect on yesterday's episode. Yesterday, we balanced the delicate difference between money and generosity from a biblical perspective. I truly hope it inspired you on how you can make use of your finances to make a positive impact on the world around you. And don't forget tomorrow to tune in as we tackle the topic of ETFs. So you might be wondering, Ralph, what are ETFs? They're mysterious investment vehicles that have been gaining popularity in recent years. We're going to explore them. We're going to talk about what they are and whether they're a safe bet for your hard-earned money. Now, today I'd like to share a verse from Proverbs chapter 15, verse 22, and it says this: "Without counsel, plans go awry, but in the multitude of counselors they are established." Listen, guys, the verse reminds us the importance of seeking wise counsel when making important decisions, especially when it comes to our finances. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about. So let's dive into today's topic, and that's credit counseling services. As someone who has personally struggled with debt in the past, I've been there. I know how overwhelming and isolating it can feel. It is so easy to fall prey to the allure of quick fixes and too good to be true promises. That's why it's crucial to arm ourselves with knowledge and discernment when considering credit counseling services. Let me lay a truth bomb on you. You didn't get into debt generally overnight, and you're not going to get out of it overnight as well. It's a very simple thing. I'm an overweight guy. Guess how I got there? I got there from eating too much. If you're in debt, guess how you got there? You got there from spending too much. So let's start first by defining what I'm talking about when it comes to credit counseling services. These are organizations that offer guidance and support to individuals struggling with debt. They can help you create a budget. They can help you negotiate with creditors, and they can help you develop a plan to pay off your debts over time. It sounds really great, doesn't it? Well, here's the catch. Not all credit counseling services are created equal. While there are certainly reputable organizations out there that have helped countless people regain the control of their finances, there are also plenty of scams masquerading as legitimate services. This is one of those areas where you got to do buyer beware. So you might ask, Ralph, how can you tell the difference? One key indicator is whether the organization is nonprofit or for-profit. The truth is, nonprofit credit counseling services are generally more trustworthy as they're driven by a mission to help people rather than a desire to make money. That's not their focus. They often offer free or low-cost services, and they're required to be transparent about their fees and practices. As with anything else, on the other hand, for-profit credit counseling services may be more interested in their bottom line than your financial well-being. That's what they're in business to do. They might charge high fees. They might put pressure on you to sign up for their services you don't need, or even engage in outright fraud. So you might say, Ralph, what are the things to watch out for? One of the most common scams to watch out for is what they call the advance fee scam. This is where a company promises to help you get out of debt, but requires you to pay a large upfront fee before they'll do any work on your behalf. The truth is, once they have your money, they disappear. They provide little to no actual assistance. Another red flag is if credit counseling services promise to erase or eliminate your debt completely. Like I said, you didn't get here overnight. While it's possible to negotiate with creditors and potentially settle debts for less than you owe, nobody, I mean no one, can make your debts disappear entirely. So you got to be really wary of organizations that make those claims. Now let's take a look at some real-life examples of how credit counseling services help people. One of my listeners, her name is Brooke, shared her story with me. She had racked up over $20,000 in credit card debt and was really struggling to make ends meet. She reached out to a nonprofit credit counseling service from her church, actually, who helped her create a budget, and they negotiated with her creditors to lower her interest rates and her monthly payments. With their guidance and support, Brooke was able to pay off her debt in just over 3 years. Again, it doesn't happen overnight, and it took some real work, but the final destination was the complete repayment of that credit card debt. It is great work, Brooke. Another listener, Mark, Well, he had a less positive experience. He signed up for one of those for-credit profit counseling services that promised to settle his debt for pennies on the dollar. Listen, folks, you get what you pay for. He paid them a huge upfront fee, but after several months, he hadn't seen any progress on his case. When he tried to contact the company, he discovered that they'd gone out of business and taken his money with them. Sorry to hear that, Mark. I do hope you've reported that company to the local authorities. See, these stories illustrate the importance of doing your research and choosing a reputable credit counseling service. So here are some actionable steps you can take if you're considering using one of these services. Number 1, check with the National Foundation for Credit Counseling, that's the NFCC, to find a reputable nonprofit credit counseling service in your area. You'll find them at nfcc.org. Number 2, you've got to be wary of any organization that pressures you to sign up for services or pay large upfront fees. Like we talked about, you didn't get here overnight, just like I didn't get to be a big fat guy overnight. It took years and months of eating and eating. Well, guess what? Debt does the same thing. It took time to build up that debt. And if they pressure you to sign up or just pay this large upfront fee, then you got to be wary of that. Number 3, ask about fees and get everything in writing before agreeing to work with any credit counseling service. If they're reputable, they're not going to argue with you about putting everything in writing. Number 4, don't trust any organization that promises to eliminate your debt completely or guarantees a specific outcome. They can't do it, folks. It really depends on your individual situation. And number 5, keep track of your progress and stay in communication with your credit counselor throughout the process. I'm not picking on Mark, but Mark should have been on top of them right away when he made his payment and he didn't hear anything from them. You got to be on those folks right away and watch out for those red flags. So let's recap. Credit counseling services can be a valuable resource for those struggling with debt, but it's important to choose a reputable organization and watch out for some common scams. By doing your research and taking a cautious approach, you can find the support you need to take control of your finances and truly achieve your goals. If you found this episode helpful, I encourage you to visit our website. That's at AskRalphPodcast.com and join our email list. You're going to receive exclusive content, updates on upcoming episodes, and valuable resources to help you on your financial journey. Here's a great thing. You'll also be eligible for a complimentary copy of my book. It's called Mastering Your Finances, just by signing up for our email list. And if you know somebody who's struggling with their finances or who is in debt, do me a favor, share this episode with them and share the program with them. Together, we can spread the message of financial empowerment and truly help others find the path to financial freedom. Remember, while the road to financial wellness may be long and winding, with faith, with perseverance, and the right guidance, you too can overcome any obstacle. And don't forget, if you have a question or topic you'd like me to address on this show, head over to AskRalphPodcast.com and submit your questions. This is your show. This show is all about you and helping you navigate the complex world of personal finance from a Christian perspective. I'm here to be your guide. I'm here to be your coach, and I'll be your biggest cheerleader on this journey. Until next time, remember this. True wealth is not measured by the size of your bank account, but by the depth of your faith and the richness of your relationships. Take care, my friends. Stay financially savvy, and God bless you.
Thank you for joining us on the Ask Ralph podcast. And with a simple click to subscribe, we'll invite you back to our next episode. And remember, financial issues don't have to be complicated. Just ask Ralph. The information contained in this episode of Ask Ralph is based on data available as of the date of its release. Saggio Accounting Plus and Ask Ralph Media, Inc. is under no obligation to update this content if changes occur. Applying this information to your specific situation requires careful consideration of all facts and circumstances, and any information provided is not to be considered as financial, tax, or legal advice. Please consult your tax advisor or attorney before acting on any material covered.